Good afternoon. It's Natalie Zangon. I hope everyone is doing well and having a beautiful day. Today I wanted to speak to you regarding situations and circumstances and words and interactions that sets us off, and where does it come from. It's important for us to remember that most of the behaviors and interactions that we pick up or give meaning to or we give reaction to, it's most of the time things we've had a file for from before. So unless you have experienced that sensation before or had a wound from before, you would not feel it today. Dr. Gabor Mate, in his beautiful speeches and talks, always speaks about that trauma, it's not what happens to you, it's what happens within you when the circumstances took place. So the meaning we give to the situation is what our body holds on to. So when a child is born up to age 1, their left hemisphere, which is in charge of their language capacity, is not even fully developed. So what is developed is the right hemisphere, and the right hemisphere has to do more with emotional interaction, emotional intelligence, emotional maturity develops during that age before the part of the brain that has to do with language. So when you experience certain experiences in adult life with your adult relatives or friends or family members, most of the time it scratches at the wound you already had experienced during childhood. If you never had a file for it, you wouldn't have felt it today either. So if in your friendship, with your siblings, with your husband, with friends, with co-workers, you sense that they treat you like you're not important, they treat you like you're insignificant, that you're not lovable, that you're not kind, that you're not caring, most likely you experienced that during childhood at a certain age and you interpreted it to mean that, so that today you're explaining it and you're picking it up as that. So when an interaction takes place, a better, more effective way to deal with it is to take a moment and look within yourself and say, when was the first time I felt like this? What are the messages I'm telling myself about this particular situation? Is it true or is it an assumption? It's about slowing down and being more aware of what it's doing inside of you instead of getting so worked up and being defensive at the person who did it. Because by being defensive to the person who did it, you're really not going to get healing from within you. All you're going to do is use your energy towards that person. But when you take a moment and look within inside you and see where the message came from, or what was the sensation, or what was the experience, it could liberate you from being stuck in that mental state. So when our language part of our brain was not developed and we experience certain things, it gets filed in our implicit memory, which means is that we emotionally feel the sensation, but we cannot explain where it's from, explain who did it to us, explain with words what happened, but we just have the sensation and the experience. And the more we gain awareness and work through it, the better we're able to overcome it and not be stuck by it. If I get overwhelmed with driving at night, or going on the freeway, or going on a plane, or going on a cruise, or being in a place at dark, when instead of just avoiding that situation, if I take a moment and look within myself and find out, when was it that I felt that it was not okay to do this? When was it in my life experience that I sensed this? And I go on that emotional elevator, it helps me to go down and see where it comes from. And the more healing we get from inside out, the better relationship we'll make, the better connection we have with our coworker, and the better understanding of people we will have. Instead of becoming defensive, we can be more open, compassionate, and understanding. Otherwise, we're going to go through life being very fragile and get impacted a lot by people's interaction and words. So the true healing comes when we're able to take the emotional elevator and go inside instead of just looking at the outside. Thank you so much for watching. This is Natalie Zangon.